Hi friends! In this video, we'll look at JEP4A3 ahead-of-time class loading and linking, which is targeted to JDK 24 and marks the initial introduction of Project Laden to the mainline OpenJDK. When Java applications start, necessary application classes and core JVM classes must be loaded and initialized. There can be thousands of classes, and so this process affects the startup times of Java applications. The worst thing is that this process repeats every time the application starts. One way of dealing with this issue is to use application class data sharing, which is a JVM feature that reads and parses a set of application classes and JVM classes and stores this data in a read-only archive. When the application starts, the JVM reads the data from the archive, and so the startup is faster. Ahead-of-time class loading and linking goes even further and not only reads and parses, but also loads and links the classes and stores this data in an AOT cache. As a result, the JVM has even less work to do at startup. This feature is in line with the overall goal of Project Laden, which aims to shift some computations from the production run to some earlier stages, such as trial runs. And ahead-of-time class loading and linking is the first step towards introducing Project Laden to OpenJDK. You create this AOT cache once, and then it can be reused as many times as you start your application. The feature is compatible with any Java application, and you don't have to change the application code. The only thing you need to do is to perform a training run of your application to record ahead-of-time configuration of your application. The more efficient is the training run, the more efficient is the resulting AOT cache. The training run should be similar to the production run of the application. The application must be able to configure itself fully and to execute production code paths. Now let's try this feature out with the early access builds of JDK 24. For this experiment, I have downloaded early access builds of JDK 24. You can get the builds for your platform. Note that the results we will get are preliminary and they may change when the stable builds are out. But we are just testing the waters now, right? Take any Spring app you like. I'm using a Spring Boot-based CRUD application that manages personal tasks. There's nothing fancy in it, but it provides basic functionality. You can follow along and experiment with your own application. Let's first create a jar file with Maven clean package. Now, running the executable jar in production is not recommended by the Spring team. So let's create the exploded jar. For this purpose, we will need the tjarmod tools extract. Here it is, our extracted jar with the lib subdirectory and the jar itself. Let's first run the application with the jar file to see how fast it starts without any optimizations. As you can see, the application started in about 2 seconds. Alright, let's get down to business. To create an AOT cache, we need to perform 2 steps. It is planned to merge them into one step in the future. First, conduct a trial run of your application with 2 flags: AOT mode set to record and AOT configuration to record its AOT configuration, in this case into the file app.aotconf. Alright, let's push some buttons in our application so that it does something useful. Now we need to use the configuration file to create the cache. For that, we use 3 flags: AOT mode set to create, AOT configuration pointing to the configuration file app.aotconf, and AOT cache to create the cache named app.aot. And we are pointing to the jar file, but this step doesn't run the application, only creates the cache. And now we can run the application. We only need 1 flag, AOT cache, pointing to the cache file we created earlier. As you can see, the application started in just 1 second, which is pretty cool. In this video, we looked at a new JDK feature, ahead-of-time class loading and linking, which is aimed at reducing the startup times of Java applications. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and until next time!